There's a silent war going on inside your body, and it's not just about aging. It's about energy, about vitality, about how sharp your brain feels at 3 p.m., how fast your muscles recover, and whether your body is working with you or slowly breaking down without your permission. Here's a fact that still surprises many people. The majority of the cells in your body aren't even human. They're bacteria, and many of them directly influence how quickly you age. Not just how long you live, but how well. Now, most people think of bacteria only in the context of infection or probiotics, but modern science is uncovering a new truth. Certain bacteria in your gut can directly enhance mitochondrial energy production, lower inflammation, and even influence the length of your telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA that shorten with age. And when these microbial allies are thriving, you age slower, you think faster, you feel more alive. This is where anti-aging isn't just about supplements or skincare. It's about cultivating an inner ecosystem, a living biological pharmacy that produces the very molecules your body needs to stay young. The stakes couldn't be higher. Poor gut health has been linked to everything from chronic fatigue and poor sleep to accelerated cognitive decline and metabolic disease. But here's the empowering side. You can shift your internal biology, starting today, with specific dietary, behavioral, and timing-based tools that support these powerful bacteria. In this episode, we'll dive into the science of anti-aging bacteria and how they impact mitochondrial energy, brain clarity and emotional regulation, inflammation and immune resilience, muscle preservation, sleep quality, and even lifespan extension. We'll also look at simple daily tools you can use to nourish these bacteria, including what to eat, when to eat, and what to avoid, all backed by the latest neuroscience and microbiome research. So if you've ever felt like your energy was slipping, your recovery slowing, or your mood more volatile than it used to be, this episode will give you the tools to take that back. Let's start by understanding exactly how your microscopic allies can help you stay sharp, strong, and youthful from the inside out. Most people think energy is just about sleep or caffeine. But biologically, your energy comes from one place, your mitochondria. These tiny organelles inside your cells are like biological engines. They take nutrients and oxygen and convert them into usable energy in the form of ATP. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful influences on your mitochondria aren't even inside your cells? They're inside your gut? Here's what the research shows. Specific bacteria in your gut can directly enhance mitochondrial performance. A 2019 paper in Nature Microbiology highlighted how bacterial metabolites, especially short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, propionate, and acetate, play a critical role in supporting mitochondrial biogenesis and energy output. These molecules are the result of bacterial fermentation of dietary fibers and polyphenols. In other words, the more of the right bacteria you have and the more you feed them the right foods, the more energy your body can generate at the cellular level. One standout example is Akkermansia muciniphila, a mucin-degrading bacterium that thrives in the gut lining and has been linked to improved metabolic efficiency, better fat oxidation, and even reduced insulin resistance. What's exciting is that people with higher levels of this bacteria often report sharper mental focus and greater endurance. And this isn't magic. It's mitochondria working better because of what's happening in the gut. Let's make this more practical. Imagine your mitochondria are little engines in every cell, and butyrate is like premium grade fuel. Without enough butyrate, your engine knocks, sputters, and underperforms. With the right bacteria producing butyrate in abundance, your system hums. But here's the key. You don't get butyrate from food directly. Your bacteria make it. Specifically, strains like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii and Rosuria species are champions of butyrate production. But they need something from you. Prebiotic fibers, the kind found in foods like onions, garlic, leeks, bananas, oats, and Jerusalem artichokes. Let me give you a behavioral tool you can apply today. A simple protocol to enhance bacterial energy output. At lunch or dinner, include at least one prebiotic-rich vegetable like leeks or asparagus. Pair it with a polyphenol-rich food like blueberries, green tea, or extra virgin olive oil. Do this consistently for 2-3 weeks. Bonus! Add a small serving of fermented food like kimchi or sauerkraut to increase microbial diversity. Over time, you'll be cultivating an ecosystem that literally fuels your energy systems from the inside out. It's not a quick fix, but it's a powerful shift in how your biology operates. Now, why does this matter for longevity? Aging is in part a function of energy loss at the cellular level. When mitochondria decline, everything slows down. Cognition, muscle recovery, immune response, even your skin's ability to regenerate. So by supporting gut bacteria that improve mitochondrial function, you're targeting one of the most fundamental drivers of aging. Here's something else to consider. In animal studies, germ-free mice, those raised without any gut microbes, had dramatically impaired mitochondrial development. This tells us that gut microbes aren't just supporting energy production, they may be necessary for it. So if you've been feeling foggy, flat, or fatigued lately, your mitochondria might not be broken, they might just be under. And the answer may be less about stimulants and more about symbiosis, nourishing the bacteria that nourish you. This isn't just about energy in the moment, it's about building a biology that sustains you for decades, vibrant, strong, and fully powered. Let's talk about a word you've probably heard 1,000 times, inflammation. It's at the root of almost every age disease, heart conditions, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, even certain cancers. But what most people don't realize is that inflammation is not just something that happens to you. In many ways, it's something you can control. Starting in your gut, here's the surprising truth. Up to 70% of your immune system lives in your gut, woven into the lining of your intestines, constantly interacting with the trillions of microbes that live there. That means your gut bacteria are not just digesting food, they're training your immune system on when to fight and when to relax. When your gut microbiome is balanced and diverse, it sends calming signals to your immune system, keeping inflammation in check. But when harmful bacteria overgrow, often due to poor diet, stress, or disrupted sleep, they produce endotoxins like lipopolysaccharides, LPS, which leak into your bloodstream and trigger systemic low-grade inflammation. This type of chronic, invisible inflammation is often called inflammation. And research from institutions like the Buck Institute for Research on Aging shows that inflammation is one of the key biological hallmarks of aging. It wears down your tissues, disrupts cellular repair, and accelerates the shortening of your telomeres, the protective ends of your DNA. But here's the empowering side. You can reduce inflammation by shifting your internal ecosystem. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Immunology found that people with higher levels of bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, beneficial gut bacteria, had lower levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha. In plain terms, more good bugs equals less inflammatory noise in your body. Here's a simple analogy. Imagine your immune system as a fire department. When your gut is healthy, it's like having calm dispatchers who only call the trucks. But when your gut is imbalanced, it's like the phones are ringing constantly, sirens blaring, engines roaring, even when there's no emergency. Over time, that chaos breaks things down. So how do we bring back balance? A simple anti-inflammaging tool: eliminate or reduce processed seed oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower. These can feed pro-inflammatory bacteria and disrupt gut lining integrity. Replace them with extra virgin olive oil, which contains oleocanthal, a compound with similar anti-inflammatory effects as ibuprofen. Add in fiber-rich plant diversity. Aim for 20, 30 different plant foods per week, including herbs, nuts, legumes, vegetables, and fruits. Diversity feeds microbial diversity, and microbial diversity protects you. It's also worth noting that certain fermented foods like kefir, kimchi, and miso have been shown to actively reduce inflammatory markers. In a 2021 study out of Stanford University, participants who added fermented foods to their diets for 10 weeks showed a measurable decrease in inflammation and increased microbiome diversity. Now, inflammation doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind. High levels of inflammatory markers are associated with brain fog, low mood, and even depression. So when you calm inflammation in the gut, you're also creating clarity in the brain. That's why people often report better mood, focus, and resilience after changing their gut habits. It's not placebo. It's the biology of calm. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed you feel emotionally off after several days of poor eating? Maybe a little more anxious, reactive, or foggy? That's inflammation affecting your neural circuits, often driven by microbial imbalances that you can fix. This is where real anti-aging begins. Not with a pill, but with a choice to eat in a way that nourishes your inner allies so they can turn down the flame on aging. And if this insight is helping you rethink what's really aging your body and how you can change it, consider subscribing. This channel exists to give you practical, science-based tools to optimize your biology. And there's much more ahead. What if I told you that your gut could influence your emotions faster than your conscious thoughts? Now, this isn't science fiction. It's the science of the gut-brain axis, a two-way communication highway between your intestines and your brain. And riding along that highway is one especially powerful conduit, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body. It runs from your brainstem down through your heart, lungs, and into your digestive tract. But it doesn't just send messages downward. In fact, about 80% of vagus nerve fibers carry signals upward from the gut to the brain. What's happening in your microbiome is literally shaping your brain's emotional tone. Here's what the research shows. Certain gut bacteria can produce neurotransmitters, the very same chemicals your brain uses to regulate mood, focus, and motivation. Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium species produce GABA, a calming neurotransmitter that reduces anxiety and quiets neural overactivity. Other microbes influence the production of serotonin, over 90% of which is produced in the gut, not the brain. A 2015 study in psychiatric research found that individuals who consumed fermented foods had lower social anxiety, and this effect was especially strong in those with a genetic predisposition to neuroticism. The bacteria were essentially buffering emotional stress, but there's more. When the gut is inflamed or imbalanced, it can send distress signals to the brain, leading to increased anxiety, brain fog, and even depressive symptoms. This has been called the microbiotic gut-brain axis in medical literature, and it's now a major focus of psychiatric and neurological research. Let's make this practical. Imagine your brain is a high-performance car, and your gut is the fuel filter. If the filter is clean and well-tuned, the engine runs smoothly. But if it's clogged with inflammatory particles, bacterial toxins, or poor fuel, your brain sputters. You lose focus. You become emotionally reactive. You struggle with motivation. Have you ever noticed how after eating processed or fast food for a few days in a row, your mood tanks? That's not just guilt, that's physiology. Your gut bacteria are altered, inflammatory signals go up, and neurotransmittal balance gets disrupted. But here's the good news, you can flip the switch back. And often, it doesn't take months, a protocol to reset the gut-brain connection. For 7 days, cut out processed sugars and refined carbs. These feed pro-inflammatory gut microbes. Add in a daily serving of a fermented food like kefir, sauerkraut, or yogurt with live cultures. Consume 1 serving of prebiotic fiber daily, something like cooked lentils, oats, or green banana flour. Bonus, practice slow diaphragmatic breathing after meals. Inhale 4 seconds, exhale 6 seconds, 5 rounds. This activates the vagus nerve, improving gut-brain communication. This combination works on 2 levels. It feeds the right microbes and stimulates the vagus nerve, allowing calming, mood-supportive signals to reach the brain more effectively. There's even evidence from a 2021 review in Nature Reviews Gastroenterology and Hepatology that microbiota-targeted interventions may support treatment for mood disorders, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative disease. In other words, gut health isn't just a wellness trend, it's a neuroscience frontier. So if you're working on your mindset, emotional regulation, or even cognitive performance, don't forget your gut. Because the truth is, your mental clarity and emotional resilience are built in part by trillions of unseen allies. And here's something worth reflecting on. When you nourish your gut, you're not just feeding yourself, you're creating the neurochemical foundation for a better mind. Let's zoom out for a moment. It's easy to think of gut health as just about what you eat. But cutting-edge research reveals that when you eat profoundly affects your microbiome, and by extension, your energy, metabolism, and longevity. Your gut bacteria aren't just passive residents. They operate on a circadian rhythm, meaning they follow a daily cycle just like your brain does. At night, certain microbes focus on repair, detoxification, and nutrient synthesis. During the day, others help with digestion and energy extraction. But here's the issue. When we eat late into the night or graze continuously throughout the day, we disrupt this microbial rhythm. It's like keeping your gut on call 24/7, never giving it time to clean up and restore. This is where time-restricted eating, also called intermittent fasting, becomes incredibly powerful. A study published in Cell Metabolism by Dr. Sakin Panda's lab at the Salk Institute showed that even without changing the type of food eaten, restricting eating to a 10-12 hour window improved gut microbiota composition, reduced inflammation, and enhanced mitochondrial function in both animals and humans. Why does this work? Because when you give your gut a true fasting period, several things happen. Cleaning crew bacteria become active, reducing toxic metabolites. The gut lining gets a break, allowing tight junctions to repair, preventing leaky gut. And most importantly, autophagy is activated, a cellular recycling process that removes damaged proteins and promotes longevity. This is not just about digestion, it's about turning on your body's internal renewal system. Think of your body like a city. During the day, traffic and activity dominate. At night, the streets empty and the cleanup crews roll out. If the activity never stops, if you're constantly snacking or eating late, there's no cleanup. Over time, that leads to biological clutter, inflammation, and faster aging. Here's a practical tool you can start today. Microbiome-aligned, time-restricted eating protocol. Finish your last meal at least 2-3 hours before bed. Aim for a daily eating window of 10 hours or less, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., or 10, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Keep it consistent. Research shows that regularity strengthens microbial circadian rhythms. During your fasting window, only consume water, black coffee, or plain herbal tea. You don't need to go to extremes. Even a 12-hour fasting window can make a measurable difference. In fact, studies show that people who eat late at night, particularly after 10 p.m., have higher levels of harmful bacteria and greater risk for insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. And remember, time-restricted eating doesn't just benefit your gut, it sharpens your mind. Participants in TRE studies often report improved cognitive clarity, better sleep, and increased energy during the day. This isn't magic, it's biology working in alignment with your natural rhythms. Let me ask you, when was the last time your body truly had a break from digestion? If your gut has been working nonstop, your recovery systems may have been on pause for years. And if this kind of insight is opening up new ways of thinking for you about your biology, your habits, and your future, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. This channel is dedicated to turning science into action and helping you build a body and mind that age powerfully, not passively. The bottom line, every bite you don't might be extending your cellular lifespan. And that's a powerful idea. Let's get very practical now. If you could plant one seed today that would improve your metabolism, lower inflammation, support your brain, and slow down aging, would you do it? Here's the truth. You already carry that seed inside you. It's called Akkermansia mucinifila, and it's one of the most powerful longevity-associated bacteria we know of. This beneficial microbe lives in the mucus layer of your gut lining, and its job is extraordinary. A 2017 study published in Nature Medicine found that overweight individuals with more Akkermansia had better insulin sensitivity and metabolic markers than those without, even if they ate the same number of calories. In other words, Akkermansia makes your body function younger from the inside out. But here's the problem. After age 50, levels of this beneficial bacteria often begin to decline, especially in people eating low fiber or highly processed diets. That's where food becomes your most powerful tool. So what can you eat to grow this bacteria naturally? Here's what the research shows works best. Rich in elagitannins, these support the growth of Akkermansia and other beneficial bacteria. Rich in coffee coals, ketogenic collectives enough to selectively nourish microbes linked to metabolic health. They can be vitamins, chlorophylls, especially in foods like leeks, asparagus, garlic, and oats. Feed Akkermansia and boost its abundance. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in flax seeds, walnuts, and fatty fish, reduce inflammation and indirectly support a healthier microbial balance. Here's an analogy. Imagine your gut microbiome like a garden. Bacteria like Akkermansia are the protective plants that keep weeds, harmful bacteria, out. But if you don't water and feed them, they shrink and the weeds take over. Let's build a simple daily habit based on this. A longevity microbiome shake. Takes 60 seconds to create, takes 60 seconds to cool. 1/2 cup plain kefir or coconut yogurt with live cultures. 1 tablespoon ground flaxseed, 1 handful spinach or kale, 1/2 banana or 1/4 cup oats for prebiotic fiber, ice and water to blend. This shake delivers polyphenols, fiber, probiotics, and omega-3s, all shown to feed beneficial bacteria and support microbial resilience. You can also rotate in berries, green tea powder, or spices like cinnamon, which enhance gut function and glucose regulation. It's less about perfect ingredients and more about consistency and diversity. Now, this isn't just about one bacteria. Other longevity-promoting species like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii and Roseburia also thrive on similar inputs. And they produce butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that fuels your gut lining and reduces systemic inflammation. A 2020 review in Nutrients found that diets rich in plant-based fibers and polyphenols were linked with higher levels of butyrate-producing bacteria and lower incidence of age diseases, from cognitive decline to cardiovascular dysfunction. Here's the takeaway. You can literally grow anti-aging bacteria with your fork. And this is especially important if you're over 50. As you age, your microbiome becomes more vulnerable. Just a few key food shifts can create measurable change in energy, digestion, mood, and long-term resilience. Let me ask you something. What if your next meal was the beginning of your longevity protocol, not just a way to fill your stomach, but a way to build your future self? That's the mindset shift. That's the power of microbiome-based aging. You probably heard the phrase, you are what you eat. But there's a deeper truth that science is revealing now. You are what your bacteria can absorb. In other words, you can eat the perfect diet, rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and healthy fats. But if your gut microbiome is dysfunctional, your body won't effectively absorb or utilize those nutrients. It's not just what goes in, it's what gets through. Here's what the research shows. Gut bacteria are essential for breaking down complex nutrients into bioavailable forms. Certain microbes help extract vitamins like B12, K2, and folate from food. Others produce short-chain fatty acids that fuel your gut lining, improving absorption and immune balance. And this process becomes critical as we age. Why? Because stomach acid production declines with age, impairing digestion. Mitochondrial efficiency drops, leading to lower energy. Nutrient absorption weakens, even on a good diet. Here's where gut bacteria come in, especially the butyrate producers like Faecalibacterium prausnitzii and Eubacterium hallei. These species convert fiber into butyrate, a powerful short-chain fatty acid that does 3 remarkable things. Seals and heals the gut lining, preventing nutrient loss and inflammation. Lowers systemic inflammation, which protects brain, heart, and muscle tissue, supports mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning your cells create more energy factories. A 2022 study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that butyrate-producing bacteria correlated with greater muscle strength, memory performance, and metabolic health in older adults, independent of diet quality. In other words, it's the microbial metabolism that makes nutrients matter. Let's bring this to life. Imagine you eat a salad with wild salmon, avocado, pumpkin seeds, and leafy greens. That meal contains magnesium, zinc, B vitamins, omega-3s, all vital for mitochondrial health. But if your gut is inflamed or your microbial diversity is low, much of that nutrition never makes it to your bloodstream. It's like buying premium fuel and pouring it into a car with a clogged filter. You're wasting potential. So how do we unlock the energy and nutrients in our food? A tool you can start today, the gut primed meal strategy. Start each day with a small serving of fermented or fiber-rich food. This primes the gut. Example, a spoon of sauerkraut or a handful of soaked chia seeds. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly. This signals the vagus nerve, enhancing digestion and microbial signaling. Pair fiber with fat, combining prebiotics like lentils or leafy greens with healthy fats like olive oil or flaxseed. increases absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Hydrate between meals, not during. This keeps stomach acid strong and digestion effective. Bonus tip, if you've taken antibiotics in the past year or experienced bloating and fatigue after meals, consider a targeted probiotic or prebiotic supplement, but always cycle and rotate strains for maximum diversity. One more insight that ties it all together: mitochondria, the engines of your cells, are evolutionarily descended from bacteria. They still communicate with gut microbes via signaling molecules like short-chain fatty acids, tryptophan metabolites, and even bacterial DNA fragments. This is known as the microbiota mitochondria axis, and it's a key player in how your body produces energy. When your gut bacteria thrive, your mitochondria wake up, energy improves, mood lifts, muscles recover faster, brain fog clears. So if you've been feeling low energy, forgetful, or physically flat, don't just reach for caffeine or motivation hacks. Rebuild your gut, feed your mitochondria, restore the root system of your energy. Let's take a breath and pull everything together. We've explored a powerful and often overlooked truth. Your gut bacteria may be one of the most critical levers for aging slower, living stronger, and energizing every cell in your body. This isn't hype. This is hard science emerging from world-class labs studying the gut-brain axis, immunometabolism, and the microbiota-mitochondria connection. Let's briefly recap what we now know. Your gut bacteria regulate aging. They control inflammation, nutrient absorption, immune balance, and even mitochondrial energy, all central to longevity. Microbial diversity is key. The broader your microbial ecosystem, the more resilient and youthful your metabolism, cognition, and immunity become. Fermented foods and fiber feed the good guys. Just one serving a day of sauerkraut, kefir, or legumes can shift your microbial profile towards strength and anti-inflammatory action. When you eat matters. Time-restricted eating allows your gut's natural rhythms to restore, clean house, and optimize repair processes. You can grow longevity bacteria. Foods like pomegranate, green tea, flax, and oats increase species like Akkermansia muciniphila, linked with healthy aging and metabolic fitness. Your bacteria control what nutrients your body actually gets. They're not just passengers, they're gatekeepers, and they influence how energized and vital you feel every single day. Now ask yourself, are you feeding a system that promotes decay or regeneration? Because the truth is, your gut is either accelerating your aging or buffering it. It's either working for you quietly in the background, helping you recover, think clearly, build muscle, sleep deeply, or if neglected, it becomes a hidden source of inflammation, fatigue, and cellular breakdown. But here's the beautiful part. You can shift this today. Start with just one of these tools. Add a serving of fermented food or prebiotic fiber to lunch. Stop eating 2 hours before bed. Try a microbiome boosting smoothie a few times a week. Eat your meals more slowly with attention, activating the vagus nerve and optimizing digestion. Remember, change doesn't have to be dramatic to be powerful. It has to be consistent. Every small input you make compounds. Every meal is a message, and every day your bacteria are listening. What's happening in your gut isn't just about digestion. It's shaping your mental clarity, emotional regulation, physical vitality, and long-term disease risk. You can't see it, but you can feel it in your energy, your recovery, your mood, and your ability to show up for life. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Try just one of the microbiome tools from today's video for the next 7 days. Track how you feel physically and mentally. Observe your energy, your digestion, your focus. Then add another tool next week. Let this build, let it compound, let it reshape your biology from the inside out. If you found this video helpful and you're ready to keep upgrading your mind, body, and biology with practical science, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This isn't just a channel, it's a community of people choosing to grow wiser, stronger, and more resilient with age together. Drop a comment below. What microbiome shift are you going to try first? And what result are you hoping for? Let's support each other in this journey. One tool, one choice, one day at a time. Because aging isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we can now shape from the inside out. And it starts in the gut.